Hey brothers and the occasional sister, I thought it was time I made a video. It's been a while, so I'm taking a break just while I'm doing this job along here. The content has been thin because I've had some family things to take care of beside the highway, so it might get a bit noisy, sorry. Family comes first, as you all understand. Things are a bit more under control now. My children lost one of their mates through a tragedy in Fiordland, a drowning, which was just absolutely horrible. And as a dad, I've been spending time just comforting my children the best I can. Anyway, enough of that. I just want to do a quick one before I carry on here and say to any of you out there right now that are struggling in any capacity or way that life has lots of little lumpy bits in it that we come up across all the time. Physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and for the best part, most of the things, not all the things, but a majority of things that happen to us are actually of our own making. God helps those that help themselves. I like that. Basically, help yourself. Treat yourself like you treat your children, like you treat your best mates. Don't have these conversations with yourself that you wouldn't have with your best mate. You know, go gentle on yourself, go easy on yourself. Because us Kiwis, particularly us blokes, are too hard on ourselves quite often. We put too much on our plate to please too many people, and we really need to take care of ourselves so we can take care of those that we love. But we can't do that if we're under the pump all the time. Stress is a killer. In my 60 years of being on this planet, I've learnt that I've got no business even still talking about this because I don't have all the answers. I don't really have any business of what I could bring to you that would be of value, but I can only tell you my experiences from my own blunders and mistakes and human frailties and stuff-ups. And I would say to you brothers to be very, very careful what comes out of your mouth. There's an old Chinese proverb, when you open your mouth the sea flows in. So words can be dangerous, words can kill, words can cause wars. And I'd also say not only be careful what comes out of your mouth, but also just equally as important as to what goes into your mouth. Substances, food, smoke, vaping, whatever your addictions are, become that 4% of people that get it under control. That's that 4% of people get on top of their addictions overall. 4% of people actually eat as you should eat. 4% of people actually don't have any of those habits that are detrimental to health. And I certainly don't fall under that 4%. I'm still battling. I try to do my best, but there's very few people that actually achieve that. And it's not easy, because we are humans that try to fill gaps by putting things in our mouth. We try to fill the gaps of the love we didn't get as children from our parents, or the love we're not getting from our partner now, or the gratification we're still not getting from our work. We come home and things go wrong, and we fill up with something. We either try to fill up with dopamine by scrolling on our phone, or we go to our computer and look at something, or we put something in our mouth that's not really that good for us, or we say something or do something just to distract us when we should really be taking full control. But that's really, really easy to me sit on the deck of my truck and spout that off when I'm not in your situation. I don't know what battles you've had to fight to be here, and you're managing your life as best as you can with the tools you've got now. But there is a better way always, and I would say even if you're 80% of the way there, it's better than being 40% of the way there. I had a conversation with a guy the other day who's obese, lovely guy, and he told me of his father's death and what had happened, and I talked to him about nutrition and just said to him, do you eat just whole foods, or do you eat stuff out of packets and rubbish? He said, I eat rubbish. He said, I know what I've got to do, but I just can't do it. Anyway, he said, it's genetic. I'm predetermined for these things to go wrong with me. And I said, no, you're not. I said, it's those genetics that you have, whether it's heart disease or cancer or Alzheimer's, it's turning those genes on that cause a disease, and it's the things we do that determines whether we turn them on or off. Exercise. Even if you just run 3 kilometres a day, just a slow jog, you decrease your chance 20% by coronary artery disease. 45% you decrease your chance if you do daily exercise of Alzheimer's. Think of that, 45%, that's incredible. And then you add something onto that again, good. You start putting whole foods into your belly. And there's our sleep management. And that's so hard to get on top of the sleep. It's difficult sometimes to sleep because turning this thing off. And my little trick for that, and I've talked about it before, is when I go to bed at night, I become sleep clay. Right now I'm work clay because I'm in the middle of working, and that means head down and work. When I'm hunting, I go into hunt clay, that means focus just on that. When I go to bed, that's sleep clay, and sleep clay is only allowed to think about one thing only, and that's breathing. That's the only thing he's allowed to have. Any other thought, no, dismiss that. Sleep clay's in sleep mode now. I wake up at 3 in the morning, I've got a problem to solve. Nah. Sleep clay doesn't solve problems, he sleeps. He gets sleep so he can solve the problem better in the morning. Having said that, some of the biggest problems I solved have been at 3 o'clock in the morning, so maybe there's something in that. This is just trying to do our best. And we're here for such a short time. It's such a short journey. It's such a short time. The average lifespan around the world is between 68 and 78 years of age. Sort of somewhere in that there. And based on that there, the minimal lifespan left, I've got another 8 years left of being alive, and maybe at the most I've got another 18 years of life being, if I'm lucky. That's not much, is it? So being mindful about what we're doing, being mindful about how we're treating the people around us, and in saying this, I would also say to my brothers, make sure today that you tell the people that you love that you really, really love them. Be honest, be upfront, just say, hey bro, I really love you, if it's your father or your brother or somebody, because you just don't know when you're going to see them next. People can die at any given time, and I think it'd be terrible for someone to die and the last thing you'd actually have with that person would be an argument, would be something that you said that was bad. So always end your conversations, no matter what you're agreeing on or disagreeing on something that's love, if you love that person. Remind them, because every time someone comes and sees you and goes away, for all you know, that could be the last time ever that you actually see that person again. It could be the final time. Some of the brothers that are listening to this now, and also the occasional sister too that might be tuning in, you might also be someone that suffers from clinical depression or clinical anxiety. And when I say clinical, I mean that you've been actually diagnosed by a professional, a health professional, with having that, and you're stuck. And one of the things I would strongly suggest that you try is exercise. You're going to be depressed, you're going to be depressed anyway, and I'm not saying it's fixable, but it's definitely manageable. And one of the things about our muscles, and this has just come out in research in the last 10 years, is our muscles are also an endocrine, part of our endocrine system, and when they are under pressure, they actually release a molecule, and scientists call it the hope molecule, and it's a feeling of well-being and even euphoria, or even being invincible. I did a video a while ago on slow walking, so if you're someone who doesn't exercise, sorry, not slow walking, slow jogging. If you're somebody who doesn't exercise a lot, slow jogging is a really good thing to start off with, because it doesn't stress the joints. In fact, it's better on the joints. It uses the quads, the glutes and the psoas muscle, which you don't use anywhere near as much when you're walking. Slow jogging is really, really good because you land on the ball of your foot, so you don't heel strike, so you're less likely to damage your knees and your joints, and it's sustainable for a long period of time. And if you do it enough, you actually have a feeling of being invincible, of really feeling strong, because it does release those same endorphins. It also brings down your low lipid protein, it decreases triglycerides, it's really good for your heart health, your brain health, and that sense of well-being. Half an hour of slow jogging is not too difficult to do. So if you're someone that's waking up and just can't motivate, say to yourself, well, I'm going to do a slow jog anyway. Set yourself a target of maybe, if you're really, really unfit, then just walk for 100 metres and jog for 100 metres. You're going to burn a lot of calories, and it's also going to burn fat. And you'll actually burn more fat than with fast jogging, believe it or not. It's hard to imagine that, but actually, power ratio, what you're putting out, you're burning more energy. It's no surprise why a lot of the military services train and practice with slow jogging, because they found with fast jogging they sustained a lot more injuries. And we don't want to injure ourselves, we want to make ourselves stronger. So that's something that I use. I use it when I'm hunting sometimes. It does burn more energy, so it's not so efficient as walking. The other thing with slow jogging too is it improves your immune system, and of course when you improve your immune system you don't get sick so much. Not only with big diseases like cancer and diabetes, which is a disease in itself, you also if you get COVID, for instance, example, if you get it, you're going to fight it back quicker and faster. And if you're not in that, your immune system's not functioning as well, you're going to struggle longer and you're going to suffer more. So that's why it's really important to take care of those things too. The other thing to be responsible for is the thoughts that you have. And as soon as you're having a thought that's detrimental, is not counterproductive to your well-being, whatever it is, to jump on top of it and squash it. You've got the freedom to do that. Understand that people don't really think about you that much or care about you that much, so don't pay too much attention to what people say or think. They don't really care. People are wrapped up in their own lives, so don't bother yourself with trying to impress anybody or what they think. If somebody says you're great, then that's only their opinion. It's a bit like the Stihl chainsaw here. If I take this chainsaw and I say, hey guys, these are the best, way better than what's a good example? I suppose Husqvarna's their competition. Way better than Husqvarna. I've had both. These are the best, and these are the reasons why. And another guy comes along and goes, bloody Stihl, they're shit. Had nothing but trouble with them. Fucking chain comes off, and it's just leaks all the time. Oil. This one actually is leaking oil, as I say that. Whatever someone's saying, it's still just that chainsaw. It doesn't change it. It's the same with you. Somebody says, oh gee Clay, you're a fucking legend, and then someone says, Clay, you're a donkey, or you're a wanker. It doesn't make any difference. I am what I am. Nobody defines who you are except yourself and your own actions within yourself and how you view yourself. So view yourself in a good, positive light, and that's who you are. And we're creatures that evolve. You know, we don't stay the same. We're not like an earthworm that just goes through the ground. We make mistakes, we fall down, we hurt ourselves, we damage ourselves, but we can repair if we give ourselves an environment to. The three things that cause disease, and I've had my share of disease, is trauma that we suffer, mostly when we're younger, but also during adult life, the thoughts that we have, believe it or not, and what we put into our mouth, what we ingest. So I've summed all that up pretty much in this video here. Trauma is something that we all suffered to different degrees, and it could be the trauma as a child, having your molars drilled or having a tooth extracted. That could be a trauma as a child, or it could be being beaten up by the person that was put in your care. It could be being kicked to the ground, or it could be something, or it could be being in a car accident, or it could be something real terrible like seeing somebody killed or almost being killed yourself, or it could be something as small as falling off a seesaw when you're a kid and bumping your head. But trauma affects everybody differently, and you've got your own amount of trauma that you've had, and how you process it and how you go through it, and your life is up to each individual, but it does have a bearing on our wellness today, particularly childhood trauma when we're young, and particularly when it comes from those that are put in the position of caring for us. And then there's what we put in our mouth, whether it's alcohol or cigarettes or vaping or drugs or all that stuff. That's actually our lungs, but also it goes in via our mouth. And then of course the big one is food. 80% of our health is just about dictated by our food, pretty much. You can see that just by America, the high amount of heart disease they have in America compared to, say, a country like Japan, like Okinawa. They have a much lower rate, and prostate cancer, a much lower rate, and their diet's completely different. So diet plays a big part. It's not just genetics. Genetics are something that are switched on by what we put in our mouth. There are some diseases which wouldn't matter what you eat, you're going to have bad luck, and you hear of these cases of children getting leukemia at 2 and 3, and that is genetic. And prostate cancer, which is very, very genetic, but it's also switched on more readily if you're consuming large amounts of dairy, which contain casein, which is a protein which causes cancer in men and a woman. So be mindful of what's going on into your belly. It's very, very difficult because there's a lot of opposing opinions, and I'm a great believer in looking at the meta-analysis, looking at that means all the studies together over long term. It's all very well having a diet that makes you feel good and makes you feel well, but you need to know what the long-term effects are going to be on your health. and that there is best by reading a lot of science. And don't look at YouTube videos, because they're just influencers trying to make $1 and trying to say things that you want to hear. Read the meta-analysis yourself. There are some good YouTubers out there that do collate it together and make it easier, but ideally you want to really do your own stuff, so you know what you're looking at. You're not just believing in something because it feels good and it serves your bias of what you like putting in your mouth. That's what I used to do, because I used to love eating loads of meat. So I used to be on the ketovore diet, and all day long I was chewing on bloody, it wasn't all day long, once a day I was eating one meal a day, and I would eat copious amounts of fatty, salty meat. So it's a recipe for disaster. Oh, I really miss it too, but I won't go back to that lifestyle ever again. It just about killed me. Hey brothers and the occasional sister, these are, as usual, they're only my views, not necessarily correct, only what I've found. And I really do have no business talking about this stuff, but you can just draw from it what you want and leave the bits out that don't resonate with who you are and what you do. Most of all, be kind to yourself, treat yourself well, treat yourself like you treat a good mate. Don't sweat the small stuff. Take time to smell the roses and enjoy this time, because it's not going to be here. Not going to be here as long as you think you are. It always comes. Death comes sooner than you think with the ones we love and ourselves. It goes over within a heartbeat. It's very, very quick, this life. So it's an absolute miracle that we're here, and it's just beautiful to be here. It's beautiful to be alive. I cherish every moment of being alive, and I do everything to try and stay here as long as I can and be as well as I can without hurting anybody else, and hopefully leaving some good on my journey, on my pathway. And I hope that you do the same to someone else too, that you leave some good. Go steady. I'll see you next Project Club video. Right, I better get back to work. I've managed to delay work for 20 minutes almost, yakking on my phone. See you later. Where's that dog? Oh, look at it. Just down here. He's got the training collar today. Good boy, Johnny. He's going for a hunt tomorrow. We're going to take him into the native. You good boy, eh? It's a good place to be. Imagine being a dog just sitting down there in the shade. He's a good dog. See you guys.